It's tomorrow again, and it's story time. But be sure to follow me on Instagram at tomorrow again, 11:11, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel tomorrow again here on YouTube. After this story time, I'm going to give you guys another clue to the mystery of what I was sending out in the universe. And whoever's the first to meet the previous requirements of following me on Instagram, subscribing to my channel here on YouTube, whoever meets those requirements and gets the answer right, whoever's the first to meet those requirements, wins a 40-minute reading from moi, yours truly. So, the winner will be announced on February 7th. If there is a winner. If there's not a winner, we'll talk about that later. Hopefully these clues will get somebody winning. But first I want to tell you a story about this lady that I gave a reading to about 20 years ago. We were working the same job, and it gotten to the point where people were constantly asking me for readings whenever we would be on break. And I was happy to do so. I was relatively new giving readings for people other than my family. And it was kind of fun to watch, things that I would tell them come true. Some would come true and some wouldn't. That's just how it goes sometimes. And there was this lady in particular. She was probably about in her mid-70s. And she would always ask me, while I was reading someone else, she would kind of jokingly interrupt and she would ask me, when am I going to find love? When am I going to meet somebody? And most of the people in the break room would kind of chuckle and laugh at the things that she was saying, the questions that she would ask. And I always wanted to take the time to give her a reading just for her and not for her to have to, jokingly try to get a reading whenever she could. So one day I was in the break room again and she was in there. There was just the two of us. And she asked me again for a reading. And I said, sure, we've got 20 more minutes or however many minutes. Sure, I'll give you a reading. And her question was always, when am I going to find love? Do you see love in my future? And I remembered every time she would ask me that, I did see something in her future. I always saw her country line dancing with with an elderly man. I always saw that for her. And this time it was no different. I saw it big time. I saw a shiny wooden floor. I saw lights and just a warm atmosphere. I could hear the music. I could feel the music. I could feel that she was in a great mood. And I could feel that this man was right for her. At 75 years old, me telling her that, I don't think she even believed me. But I could see that image every single time I would give her a reading. And several other times she would butt in when I was giving a reading to another coworker and teasingly ask, well, do you still see me dancing, on that dance floor? Do you still see that handsome gentleman coming into my life? And I would say, yeah, Margaret, I do. I still see him. And this went on for a couple of years. And by this time, Margaret was about 77 years old and she was still working part-time. And she would always tease and ask me that. Well, eventually, I stopped working there and I found another job somewhere else, and I lost touch with Margaret. And then I ran into another coworker at a grocery store, and we were talking about the job where we all worked, and we started talking about Margaret. And I asked her, I said, "How is Margaret doing?" And she said, "Well, Margaret met this guy, and he was really, really a nice guy, and he'd take her dancing, but unfortunately." They went dancing and she collapsed on the dance floor and she passed away. And I couldn't help but to remember all the times when I was giving readings at work, Margaret always wanted to know about who this man was, and she always wanted to know, would she find true love? Well, apparently Margaret did find true love before she passed on. And I'm happy that she was able to find that. And I'll say this to each and every one of you. If you are looking for true love, if you are still hoping for true love, don't give up. Margaret didn't give up. She found her love. I'm sure, It may not take most of us that long to find the love that we seek, but in Margaret's case, she found true love apparently, even though she was in her late 70s, and even though she didn't live much longer after she found true love. It's okay. She still had it. She still found true love. So to each and every one of you, don't give up. Remember Margaret. Remember, there's always hope of finding true love if that's what you want. So for Valentine's Day, and for Margaret, you rest in peace, Margaret, and thank you for showing us that hope in love is still possible. Now, I want to give you guys a big hint. And are you ready? Drum roll. Here is the hint, the clue. The best, sending love and light to you. Continue to love, continue to follow your dreams. Don't give up. Don't forget Margaret. Thank you.